How hungover are you, Nick?
The ring down.
You don't know what hard times are, Daddy.
Rise to the top. Oh, yeah.
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass. You just made the list.
This right here is a man-made.
Hey, this is professional wrestler and professional podcaster Colt Boom Boom Cabana.
My name is Killer Cross.
This is The Smoke Show, Scarlett Bordeaux.
What's up, guys? The After Machine, Brian Cage.
This is Ryan from Pro Wrestling Tees.
Sadly, you are not listening to The Art of Wrestling, but you made a decent choice because you're listening.
You are now listening to...
When you're listening,
And you're listening to
You listen to Breaking Down the Ring.
Breaking Down the Ring.
Breaking Down the Ring.
Breaking Down the Ring.
Breaking Down the Ring. Break it down.
Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
Yeah, what's going on, guys? Your ring crew here. I'm Z, and
This is Koenig 19.
first of all, I'd like to congratulate Nick. He went and got married last night, so congrats, buddy.
Thank you,
Surprised
sir.
you're actually on the show today, but you know.
Yeah, to
good for you.
answer your question, I'm not that hungover. I got pretty messed up, but I slept it off pretty good.
Attaboy.
Although hungover enough to not change my background.
That's fair. I mean, there's a pay-per-view tonight too, so it really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
All right, so Mikey's not here this week, so if the show's a little off the rails, I apologize to all the listeners. I'm pretty sure Smitty didn't get the link, so he might pop in here at some time. He might not. So we're just gonna roll with it. We're gonna start with the power rankings, the PIW or PWI 500. They released the top 25 this week, and number one is Jon Moxley. And being beyond myself, there's a lot of people on the internet that are very, very upset he is number one, which is understandable because although he's the AEW champion and although he's had a good run, I don't really think he's the best wrestler in the world right now. I would definitely have to go with Adam Cole for my number one. Nick, what's your take on it?
Yeah, I'd probably agree with that. I think he just had a really good year, and combined with his, I guess you would call it, above average in-ring ability, combined with all that, I guess that's why they would put him at number one. I'd probably agree with that Adam Cole comment, and there's a lot of people that even disagreed with him being in the top 25 from what I saw, which is beyond me.
Who, Moxley?
No, Adam Cole.
They disagreed with Adam Cole being in the top 25, even though he was the... No, go on.
Sorry, not the top 25, like even in the top 10.
I find that unbelievable. Only, and I mean, maybe I'm biased because I'm a Adam Cole mark, but he's the longest reigning NXT champion. He had that great run when, they had those plane issues and they did like the invasion of SmackDown. He went over on Seth. He went over on Daniel Bryan. So, I mean, and if we're basing this off of solely 2019, Adam Cole's your guy, and again, just my opinion. Obviously, people disagree, which is why he's number two and not number one. But, yeah, Smitty, what do you think? Who's your number? Who do you think Jon Moxley deserves to be number one on the top 500 power ranking, or do you think it's somebody else?
Yeah, I believe he deserves the number one spot. I think you're forgetting that Jon Moxley, throughout 2019, has not only been doing AEW, he's also the reigning United States champion in New Japan as well.
Yeah, but he's only defended it one time.
Actually, no, he's defended it like 2 or 3 times. We just don't get to Ooh, I just kind of spit on my phone by accident. He's actually been with kind of like we also know we talked about like how Okada's title defenses in New Japan are like few and in between. And like the guy's doing double duty and he's doing double duty overseas as well as being the AEW champion.
Not right now with travel restrictions, but you're talking like 2019.
Yeah, throughout 2019, yes, and even before COVID, he was still pulling double duty, going overseas. What the whole COVID and lockdown stuff started in March. That's
right.
still
No. Okay, so you believe that he's the true number one because he's been pulling double duty.
Double duty is a dual champion in two different companies, and like this also like if you look at where he is now compared to where he was in 2018, when he first got the AEW and everything he's been doing, and the improvement he's had in the ring and everything else in between there, and how much influence he's had on the industry, which is another thing that they talked. Which if you read about the criteria to make the top 100, the top PWI list, he checks all the boxes.
Okay, that's fine. So you're in agreement. So then, I mean, obviously, would you agree that Adam Cole is number two?
Yes, because Adam Cole's had probably one of the most significant title runs over the last year and a half.
All right. Now, would it be safe to say that you could plead a case? Could you plead a case that Adam Cole could be number one? Because I personally, now, you bringing the fact that Moxley has been pulling double duty slightly changes my mind a little bit, but I still think Adam Cole is the better professional wrestler, period, than Jon Moxley.
A better professional wrestler, but like if you look to like the only reason I would still argue the case is only thing Cole has done has been within the walls of the WWE. The PWI list is supposed to be about the industry, not just one company.
No, that's fair. That's fair. I see your point. All right. So now did you guys happen to take a quick look at the top 25?
Yes, I did.
Yep.
Actually, I've looked at the whole list and I marked some stuff down from the list and I wrote down the top 25.
Okay. I believe now, granted, I'm not tech savvy like Mikey, so I don't have the ability to look at another screen while doing this.
That's why I had notes right now, and I'm also got my laptop open.
Yeah, I believe Brock Lesnar's number 12, right?
Lesnar, yes, 12.
Okay, so now do you guys believe that Lesnar should even be on this list?
Especially he shouldn't be in the top. He should not even be in the top 50. He shouldn't have been in the top 50 at all.
Okay, I agree with that as well, especially with the point you just made about Moxley pulling double duty, and it's not what you do within the walls of one company, it's more what you do, all over the world. And really Brock hasn't done much, let alone I don't think he's that great. I mean, he may be a big money draw just because of his name, but that's it. The in-ring stuff doesn't do it for me anymore.
And like his namesake and his draw power is the only reason he's so high on the list.
Well, right. But I mean, really, what did Brock do in 2019? Lose.
He lost to Rollins at SummerSlam, and that's about it last year.
No, he lost at Mania to Rollins too.
Oh yeah.
And then he lost at Mania this year.
Yeah, right. So all Brock.
Okay, wait, who did he beat? Oh, he squashed Kofi.
Yeah, he squashed Kofi to get the title back to lose it to McIntyre.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it is what it is. All right. So now, what other kind of notes you got, Smitty? I'm intrigued. Let's hear them.
I was really interested in the top 100 that two women made the top 100, and that was Kylie Ray and Tessa Blanchard. And I was like, congratulations to those two women because they've done something throughout the last 2 years that is not really spoken about. Those two women have pushed and done intergender wrestling they've done pretty much throughout their whole careers, but they've done enough. And especially Tessa, I think Tessa should have been higher, but some of the ratings were affected by the whole speaking out movement and stuff like that. And Tessa's name got brought up for being a bully. So she got dropped to 83 while Kylie Ray came in at 78.
Now, if that report doesn't come out about Tessa being an asshole, do you think she's higher ranked than she is?
Yeah, I think she would at least made maybe the top 60.
Do you think it's bullshit that people get dropped for not for their in-ring ability, but for political stuff outside of the ring?
Yeah, because I think Joey Ryan probably would have made the list if it wasn't for the speaking out movement.
That's fair. I forgot about that. There's probably a couple wrestlers that would have made this list, but they clearly don't deserve it.
Like I said, Osprey dropped hell of a lot from the list, so did Dream.
They shouldn't be on the list because they should be disqualified. There should be like a human decency box that needs to be checked before you make the list.
Yeah, then we had to shout out to Rohit Raju. He made the 405 spot.
When I originally looked at it, they had only released the top 25, so I didn't get to look at the full list.
And the first, I feel like I was a little bit upset where the first actual Impact guy came on there. And the first Impact guy to come on the list was Sami Callihan. He came in Sami Callihan's a fucking workhorse, got his character worked down, and pretty much will work with any and everybody. He's probably one of the best heels in the business, even though I'm starting to feel his babyface Callihan with his feud with RVD. He came in at number 57, and that was pretty cool.
All right.
I'm looking at this list right now, and I got the whole top 100 on there, and I'm just the farther and farther I go down, the more it just seems like they're throwing people in there, and there's like no rhyme or reason to it. And like a perfect example is when I get down to number 97, Scorpio Sky, 97. Really?
Okay,
Scorpio
so this.
Sky has that. Okay, go ahead, Z.
I was gonna say this list is there's always something wrong with it. We talk about it every year, and there's always somebody that's higher or lower, and it's virtually one guy's opinion of who the top 500 are. And
or what magazine?
Normally, the top 10, the top 10 is basically spot on. I mean, you might have to change one or two to a different spot, but they're all like, you could argue that all of them are good within the top 10. And like you said, as you go farther down the list, you're like, well, wait a minute. Scorpio Sky, he had a really good run. He had a championship match. He was basically the glue that held that group together in AEW, and he put on great matches. How the fuck is he 97? So now my question, Nick, is who's number 96?
96, you have Karrion Kross.
Okay, I mean, I would agree that no, because Karrion Kross came on the scene this year. So what did Killer Kross do? Because this is based on 2019, correct? Because if you're basing it on
based on most of 2019, but Karrion Kross was still Killer Kross, and he just ended his run in Impact around March of last year.
Okay, no, I'm just
around March, April.
I'm just saying, in a COVID world, you can't really base it off of this year because there's a lot of people who can't travel. There's the talent, the rosters are thinner. Mox can't pull double duty because he can't travel. So it cannot be based off of this year. It has to be based off of last year.
Primarily last year. And let's see what else. Kross was also pretty much big on the indie circuit after his Impact contract went up. So.
Well, then you got Jungle Boy at 93. So that's, 4 spots ahead of Scorpio Sky. I mean, Jungle Boy really didn't do a whole lot that I can recall in 2019 other than, kind of tickle butt.
Right. It's more so Jungle Boy's been getting hot recently. Like since COVID hit, they've given him a little bit more of a push. But before that, he hasn't really done anything. That's why this list, the more I look at this list, the more infuriated I get with it because it doesn't make a lot of sense.
They need to show more love for Impact. That's one of my real things about the list.
Well, I mean, AEW was heavily, featured in the top 25.
In top 50.
I think Jericho came in at number 3.
Jericho came in at number 3, but you can't deny Jericho with everything Jericho done.
I'm not arguing at all. I think Jericho is perfect. In fact, if I had to redo the top 10, I think the only thing I would change, in my personal opinion, it would be Adam Cole, Moxley, Jericho instead of Moxley, Adam Cole, Jericho.
And also, like, Jericho's another guy who's been pulling double, like he was on double duty overseas throughout the last couple of years as well. Just not getting home.
I don't know if that was just me, but I lost your audio.
Let me grab my headphones.
I have mine on today, but they are not syncing to my phone for some reason. So I'm without headphones. All right. So since Nick, what do you have any other comments, concerns about this list since you got it right in front of you?
Not really. I mean, like Nick Aldis at number 15 for me, I think he could have been a couple of spots higher. NWA up until COVID started, he's a fantastic heel. He's a very believable character. It's like it's his own persona translated into the ring and into that company. And he's a great wrestler. I think he could have been a little bit higher. But, like we said, it's just a mishmash, it's just kind of all over the place. So, and it's one guy's opinion, we could all make different lists and there would be some very stark contrasting opinions with all of them. So.
Yeah, I would personally, again, just my opinion, but I think Nick Aldis should be maybe in the top 10, like number 10, maybe number 11, just outside.
Yeah.
But to be in the top 25, you're the best at what you do in whatever company you work in, right? Because I think number 25 is Walter, right? And nobody's going to argue that Walter isn't the best competitor they have in NXT UK. And for that matter, if they were to promote him to NXT or the main roster, his skills would carry over and he'd still be the big name that he is no matter where he goes. So, he
was a big name before he got to NXT UK.
Well, right. So I'm just saying, like the top 25, the top 50, it's going to be, the best workers from each company, which is fucked up that Impact doesn't touch the list till 57. But we said it before, and I'll say it again, Impact doesn't get the respect it deserves. It's one of the, in my opinion, it's one of the best promotions going today that's on TV, and it's fun. It's fun to watch. There's really nothing bad I can say about Impact right now. And yet they still don't get the credit they deserve coming in with their first guy at, number 57.
But they also had the top 2 women in the top 100. They only have the only 2 women in the top 100 as well. But that's why I said
Charlotte
they get
Flair didn't break the top 100 for women.
Charlotte Flair didn't even make the list.
Nope.
See, now that's real fucked up because I think beyond WWE, she's one of the best, period.
But see, the 6 women I saw on the list, these are all women that wrestle intergender matches.
Okay, but why? But that doesn't make sense to me. So because these women wrestle men, they're better than the other women? I don't feel that.
I think it's the reason that they made the list with the men, because usually PWI does a top 100 women's list as well. They usually drops in October.
Oh, okay, so they do a separate list for, but see, now I think that's fucked up, especially since they're taking they're trying to take the women's title, off of it and just calling everybody superstar. So everybody's equal and even. So people Becky Lynch should be in the top 500, top 100, top 50, especially for last year. Charlotte should be there every fucking year as far as I'm concerned, along with Tessa Blanchard, even though she's a piece of shit. She, in my opinion, deserves to be in the top 100 of all wrestlers, not just the top of women or whatnot.
That you, Z? I lost your visual.
Yeah, no, I'm still here, guys. I'm just getting a phone call. Hold on.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, but I love the fact that women made the list in general.
Right, but I mean,
and these are two women I'm actually a fan of. The in-ring work. And Kylie Ray is actually also one of the nicest people. Like, I kind of ran her while we were in Chicago. And she's like one of the nicest women I think I've ever met in my life. She really does live her persona.
Bailey's old gimmick.
She's what Bailey should have been. Her, like, a combination of her and what Allie was when she was in Impact. That's what Bailey should have been. But they kind of just, I feel like Bailey's more of a watered down Kylie Ray. Was a watered down babyface. Bailey was a watered down Kylie Ray. The whole hugging thing.
All right. So, I think, Nick, any other comments before we move on from this list? Because I think now we're just beating a dead horse.
No.
All right. Now, did you guys happen to catch SmackDown, more specifically the end of SmackDown on Friday night?
Yeah.
All right. So we have a new Paul Heyman guy. And Nick, what do you think about it?
Well, that was the last thing I expected to see, honestly. On one hand, I'm kind of okay with it, but then on the other hand, I still get frustrated with the fact that WWE just pretends like shit never happened. It was literally 1 year ago, almost to the day, when you had this feud between Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns, and Paul Heyman is doing these candid interviews about Roman Reigns and how, just all the shit with Brock Lesnar, and then now they're on the same team. It just, something about it just doesn't sit right with me. But on the other hand, like I said, I'm kind of okay with it because it is kind of out of nowhere, like carrying on to the you didn't see that coming shit.
I will say this though, Paul, I think all they're doing is exactly what they were going to do after WrestleMania. Like, had Roman had the match, had Roman won the title, I think he was going to become a Paul Heyman guy either way, only because in interviews leading up to WrestleMania, Paul Heyman was talking about how he would love to manage Roman Reigns, and Roman, he'd always put Roman over, kind of planting the seeds for this to happen. But I liked it because everyone's like, oh, he's the leader of Retribution. And I was like, no. They want you to think he's the leader of Retribution. He probably has nothing to do with it. This is your red herring. This is how they're going to surprise people from now on. They're going to throw a bunch of shit at you so you think it's all that, and then they're going to, unveil the real leader or whatever of Retribution. So when Roman said that before they panned into Paul, and he was like, and that's not a prediction, that's a spoiler. And I was like, oh shit. And then it went over to Paul Heyman and the contract and everything. And I'm not going to lie, I marked out. Like, Allie came running into the room. She's like, what's wrong? And I was like, nothing. Like, I'm just really excited right now because I hope that they don't give Roman a script. I hope that it's bullet points, and then when he stumbles, Paul's there to save him as far as talking on the mic. Because let's be honest, Roman Reigns as a whole, that was the only issue. It wasn't his in-ring work. It wasn't he didn't look the part. It was always he's terrible on the mic. And he was getting better. And he seemed to be better when he's not given a script, when he just can be himself out there. So now you have, hopefully, Roman's going to be a heel, so it's just going to be himself turned up to 100. So it should be a lot easier to talk on the mic. And if he stumbles, he's got Paul. So, I mean, I really don't see a downfall to this. And I still think he could potentially still be the leader of Retribution, only because Roman was there and they did not show up Friday. Smitty, what do you think?
Initially, shock and awe. There was shock and awe. To a certain, also, I'm like this. Oh, are they really trying to push AJ Styles out the door that right now? AJ originally said he wanted to go to SmackDown because he didn't want to work with Paul Heyman on Raw, and now here's. I really feel like after the initial shock, I was like, do I feel like they're reaching for stuff?
Okay, so you're hearing that
back.
too.
I'm still
I
kind
thought
of
it was just my
let it play
fault.
out before I. You hear me?
I'm sorry, Smitty. I didn't hear a word you said. You sounded like a robot.
Okay, so I said that I had initial shock and awe. After the shock and awe wore off, I started thinking about it. First things was, I know AJ Styles, and like I follow AJ Styles on Twitch, and he answered some questions. He did a Q&A after the whole Talking Shop Mania, and one of the reasons he said he left Raw because he didn't want to work with Paul Heyman, and now surprise, he does Paul Heyman on Raw now. I mean SmackDown now.
But so I had that thought too, but here's the difference: is on Raw, Paul's the boss. On SmackDown, he's just the talent. He's just the manager. So if AJ doesn't want to fucking talk to him, look at him, whatever, he doesn't have to. Where on Raw, if Paul told him to do something, he'd have to listen because Paul's his boss.
Hey, scars run deep when you screw somebody's friends over.
All right, cool. Maybe Paul gets punched in the mouth backstage, but still, he's not working for Paul Heyman. And, I mean, obviously you have AJ drop the belt because after Roman wins tonight, you're going to run an AJ Roman program, right?
I don't know. Did AJ have a sudden face turn? Because last time I checked, AJ was a heel as well.
See, right now in I don't know what they're trying to do, but to me, he's like toting that in-between line where he does do or say heelish stuff, but he's not a full-blown heel. Like they had Sammy, Sammy came back on SmackDown claiming that he's the rightful Intercontinental Champion.
Oh, yeah, we're getting Razor Michaels.
No, you're probably tonight. Or if not tonight, it'll be next Friday. You're going to get a triple threat between Jeff Hardy, AJ Styles, and Sami Zayn.
Now, I think they'll wait till Night of Champions.
Yeah, however they want to do it. Whatever pay-per-views next week, that will be the one that they fight at.
Yeah. So, yeah, I like to also, just like anything, I feel like WWE's, they're doing whatever they can to reach Roman. But I'm going to let it play out before I actually make any judgment.
Gotcha. All right. So now.
Oh, Kenny Omega made a statement about being on the Thunderdome, by the way.
What's that?
Kenny Omega was caught on Thunderdome, and he issued a statement about how he was having fun and how AEW doesn't care if they watch other product.
I mean, they shouldn't. I mean, if you're a professional wrestler, right, you love the sport of wrestling. So, I mean, there should never be a reason that you don't get to watch the thing you love. Like, if you work for WWE, you should be able to watch AEW. In fact, it should be homework so you know what your competition is doing.
Well, it was that one Scottish team that was back in 2007, the Highlanders.
Yep.
Back in 2007, one of the Highlander guys got caught at an Impact show, and apparently after having the Highlanders drop the Raw titles, they had the guy fired like a week after.
Well, that's just like what happened to Jimmy Jacobs. Jimmy Jacobs was a writer for WWE, said hi to some friends who were working for AEW or signing with AEW or whatever it was, and was fired the next day simply for saying hi to his friends and taking a picture with them and posting it on fucking social media. That's fucked up. Like, I'm sorry, and I understand that it was probably in his contract that he couldn't do that, but the fact that some company can tell you who you can and cannot be friends with is fucked up to me.
Well, that kind of goes into the whole.
All right, Nick, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh. That kind of goes into like the whole Sonya Deville thing when she had that incident last week where, you know, someone was trying to abduct her and Mandy Rose was in her house, but they're in the middle of this giant feud, you know, where at one point it was going to be a loser gets their head shaved match, but, you know, in real life, they're hanging out, you know, and a lot of, I read an article, I think yesterday or the day before that, you know, there's a lot of the internet community that thinks that Sonya should be fired and Mandy should be fired. And, oh, it was Cornette.
Breaking
Cornette said it
kayfabe
on his podcast. Yeah.
Well, Cornette's a piece of shit.
Right.
Yeah, Cornette is a piece of shit. But also for the first like day and a half that this story broke, they didn't announce who the other person in DeVille's house was. It was
they announced it the day when they went to court,
and then it came out that it was, you know, Mandy Rose by her real name. But I don't think people should be
the day they went.
Go ahead, Smitty.
The court.
Smitty, are you in your basement right now?
No, I'm in my home.
Can you like go on your porch or something? Because you are breaking up so incredibly bad.
Let me see if my Wi-Fi is on real quick.
Breaking down the internet.
Yeah, for real. No, but he has been breaking up.
Yeah.
Is he back? Did he leave? All right. Anyways, Nick, any other thing you want to talk about before we get into our picks for Payback tonight?
Yeah, Karrion Kross and the whole NXT 4-way coming up on Super Tuesday.
Solid. I forgot all about that. So now, let's get your take on it, and then we'll go into mine, and we'll see if Smitty can talk.
Am I back?
It sounds better. If you missed it, we've moved on to Karrion Kross vacating the title and the 4-way that's happening on Tuesday to determine your next NXT championship. Go ahead, Nick.
You know, that match with him and Keith Lee last weekend was a really good match. And then, you know, it's heartbreaking actually, you know, for a guy that you're seeing get pushed really hard like that and dominating and taking over that brand. And then all of a sudden Wednesday he comes out in the sling and he's going to be out for an extended period of time. It's like, damn, that just throws this huge wrench into everything. And then, you know, but I guess the silver lining is we're going to see a match that in many people's eyes, including myself, that's really a dream match that we're going to see on Tuesday. You're going to get a 60-minute Iron Man match with Adam Cole, Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, and Finn Balor. I mean, if you'd have told me that I'd see that match a week ago, I'd be like, well, yeah, right. When the fuck are we going to see that? Now we're going to see it in 3 days.
This is the first time WWE in a long time. So I've been watching wrestling for about 30 years. So having a first time ever is very, very hard to come across for me. So when William Regal was like, oh, for the first time ever, I'm like, yeah, okay. He's like, a fatal, or not a fatal four-way because it's not one fall to the finish, but a four-way 60-minute Ironman match. Yeah, never seen that before, and I couldn't think of four better competitors that I would sit there for an hour and want to watch than the four-man that he picked. What do you think, Smitty?
I'm actually excited about this one. It takes a lot for me to get excited about to watch anything in the WWE product right now. And this one, it ticks all the boxes. It's four really great competitors. It is a unique match, which there's not too many of those out there nowadays. And like you guys said the other day, these are the four guys that you're gonna love watching, and they're gonna tear the house down for the complete first or second half of NXT.
All right, next question. Who wins?
That is also because I'm actually torn between Balor and Cole.
What do you think, Nick?
I'm torn between Balor and Ciampa because they dropped that snippet that Ciampa never really lost the title. So yeah, I think it's between those two.
In my opinion, Ciampa's always been better at chasing the title than actually holding it. It's kind of like that Ambrose Moxley thing where he chasing the title, he's really good and you get really behind him, but then when he has the title, it's kind of boring.
I feel like
more that's more so Moxley than Ciampa because Ciampa seems to get the title and then get injured. And like it seems to be a reoccurring thing. I think Balor's going to take it. They were in the middle of giving him this big push for the UK brand. So if they give it to Balor with UK starting up, now the Walter match could potentially be champion versus champion instead of just Finn going for that championship belt. I mean, you don't even have to make it a championship match anymore. You could just do champion versus champion on the next takeover if that's the route they go. Plus, I'd love to see Finn win it. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be Adam Cole. He's coming off the longest run, and I have a feeling he'll be going to the main roster sooner rather than later. And I think that's why, this week on NXT, you had Kyle O'Reilly versus who the fuck is?
Drake.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's what it was because they beat up Drake. But what I found funny about this is Roddy's the one who need him, and Adam Cole's the one who took him out after the beating. So why Kyle O'Reilly? Kyle O'Reilly didn't really do anything to Drake, but he's the one that faces Drake, and I'm assuming it's a size thing. Drake looks a little bit bigger next to Kyle O'Reilly than he does.
Kyle O'Reilly's the smallest guy in the Undisputed Era.
Right, but Cole wasn't there this week, and it was just the three of them. And honestly, I think you could bump Cole up to the main roster and leave those three down, and they could still have the same dynamic that they do going forward. Thoughts, concerns, Smitty, Nick?
Yeah, I would agree with that, especially because, Adam Cole, you can already kind of feel that separation from him and Undisputed Era. So, yeah, I definitely think I would agree with that.
All right. Now, did anything cool happen on Raw? I don't really remember. Oh, Keith Lee versus Orton. Let's talk about that because that's a big one.
That goes into Payback.
What's that?
That goes into Payback because there's another. That's one of the matches at Payback.
Yep.
Tonight.
Yeah. So we talked about it last week. How we were worried that with Keith Lee coming up to the main roster and going to Monday Night Raw, that they would kind of fumble his main roster debut, which they did slightly. They changed his music, which people weren't happy about.
And it's here.
And he came to the ring in what kind of looked like a skirt. But you come up to the main roster and your very first feud is Randy Orton. I feel like you're going to be okay on the main roster because whether or not he goes over tonight at Payback, Orton's going to make him look like $1 million. Nick, what do you think?
I was a little shocked at first when you heard that different entrance music, and then I read that it had a lot to do with the guy that wrote his entrance music in NXT wanted a hell of a lot more money now that it's on Raw. So
which makes sense. I mean, it's you're everybody is getting a pay bump, right? Like Keith Lee gets a pay bump for going to the main roster. So shouldn't the guy who wrote the music get some more royalty money? I mean, that's great, but that's the way
his royalty money is also straight royalty money because he doesn't work for the company anymore.
All right, go on, Nick. Sorry for interrupting.
No. But the match that he started to have on Raw seemed like a pretty decent match. I don't know. I'm not a fan of what they're doing with his ring gear. It does kind of look like a skirt, and it kind of reminds me of what Samoa Joe usually wears a little bit. But I agree with what you said that tonight, no matter who wins that match, Keith Lee is going to be made to look like a star already. Where as much as he already is making himself look to be a star. It's kind of a coin toss, and we'll get into it when we talk about our predictions. But I've got Randy going over in that one still.
Smitty, what's your take on it?
Like I'm on the fence. Like I said, I agree. Like the music, the gear, I'm not behind. But like you can't get any bigger right now in this company right now, especially as a debut, feuding up with Randy Orton. So it's one of it's depending on where they go after this is where I'm gonna put my 2 cents in. Really.
Okay.
I feel like what do you do after?
But let's play a little fantasy booking here. If Keith Lee loses tonight, but loses in strong fashion, like looks like $1 million, but RKO out of nowhere, boom, match is over. Are you upset? Are you upset that he debuted and lost to someone like Randy Orton, or is it acceptable because it's Randy Orton?
I think he's going down because they want to prolong the McIntyre Orton feud. So if he goes out in a strong fashion, it depends on what they do after the whole Orton thing, this Orton ordeal is over. I'm not even worried about this feud.
It sounds like at some point in the near future, Keith Lee is going to turn heel and go for the WWE Championship. So, I mean, if that all comes to fruition, then awesome. Then I'm all about whatever they're doing. I'm all about him coming up. They need star power right now, especially without fans. Oh, and I'm going to backtrack here for a minute, guys. But I really wish with this four-way 60-man Iron Man match that's going on Tuesday, I really wish there was a real crowd. Because although the match is, I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that this match is going to be amazing, but having a real fan base and a real crowd cheer you on in this match would just give it an extra level of, specialness.
Well, yeah, I understand that because AEW just did a live, what was it, Saturday? They did or Thursday. They had their first live crowd. And, dude, I got goosebumps when Jericho came out when the whole crowd started doing his intro music.
That is actually what made me realize there was a crowd there. Because normally they have talent all throughout the stands and everything. And it was when everyone started singing his song that I was like, oh, shit, they have an actual crowd. Because I saw, a little kid and his father. And I saw, a couple they clearly weren't talent. Or, some indie guy that was sitting in the crowd. It was an actual fan base, which was kind of nice, actually. Smitty, you're moving in slow motion again. All right, let's move on to our payback for tonight.
I just went off my.
What's that?
There, I'm back.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you were still there. You just weren't doing it.
I'm back. I should be back in normal speed.
All right, we're gonna get into our picks for payback now. Does anybody? Okay, so I'm gonna have to get out of the video to go. So does anybody have the scorecard in front of them?
Yep.
Yeah. And let me just say, I'm fucking pissed that I forgot to do my emergence card. I pulled it up earlier in the day while I was working, and I started to do it, and then I got a phone call, and it just left me. And then, 11:30 at night, Mikey's like, boys, scorecard? I was like, son of a bitch.
Actually, I filled mine out because I can't get into my BDR Smitty, so I started a new one. I used my backup one.
I am a child, and I was not reminded to do it, so therefore I forgot to do it.
Yeah, but I've been filling things out on my backup scorecards account because I can't get into my BDR Smitty one.
Yeah, well, I hope you know that we voted and none of your shit counts, so cool.
Oh, shit. And I'm actually in a fucking lead. Fuck you guys.
That's fine. I mean, your BDR Smitty hasn't filled out a scorecard in over a month, so I don't.
That's because
I
can't get into the motherfucker.
That is not my problem.
That's a you problem.
Yep, totally you problem. So therefore,
that's because I'm not taking no punishment either. And fuck you guys.
Nick, neither one of us have to do a punishment because Smitty's got a big fat 0.
No, I'm not hey, look, if I can't fill out the cards, I'm not doing a punishment. Fuck off. I filled out the cards. I just couldn't do it through that one account.
Yeah,
so
we know.
Let me log in.
Just fucking with you. Calm down. Relax. It looks so me and Nick, to give you guys a heads up, me and Nick did not get to fill out our emergence scorecards, so it's looking like one of us will definitely be doing the punishment this month. So I hope you're ready because it's going to be electrifying.
The most electrifying punishment in podcast and entertainment.
Absolutely. All right, so what's the first match on the scorecard, Nick?
We've got Keith Lee versus Randy Orton.
Oh, kick it off.
And I've got, I'll go into mine. Randy Orton by pinfall with 6 near falls, 14-minute match time, 1 minute before the first RKO attempt, and yes to more than one punt.
All right, Smitty, what do you got?
Yeah, I also have Randy Orton winning by pinfall. I have 4 near falls, a 17-minute match time, 4 minutes before the first RKO attempt, and yes to more than 2 punt attempts.
All right, so I have Keith Lee by pinfall, 4 near falls, 15-minute match time, 2 minutes before the first RKO attempt, and no, there will not be more than 1 punt attempt.
It said 2, not 1.
What's that?
It says more than 2.
I see more than 1.
Mine says more than 1. More than 1 punt attempt.
Never mind. I'm looking at my wrong
I know.
notes.
I know numbers are hard, Smitty, but that's a 1, not a 2. All right, the next match we have is Corbin versus Riddle. We have winner, fall type, match time over 10 minutes, and fight before or after the match. Smitty, what you got?
I got Riddle winning by submission. Match is under 10 minutes and no to a fight before or after.
All right, Nick, what do you got?
I've got Riddle by pinfall, yes to over 10 minutes, and no to a fight.
I have the exact same thing as Nick. I have Riddle winning by pinfall with the match being over 10 minutes, but there will be no fight. Next match is Big E versus Sheamus. We have winner, fall type, aerial moves, and finishers. I'm going to kick this one off. I have Big E winning by pinfall, 2 aerial moves, and 2 finishers. Nick, what you got?
I have Big E winning by pinfall, 3 aerial moves, and 2 finishers.
All right, Smitty, what you got? Smitty.
Ready?
All right, well, we have technical difficulties, but I can guarantee you that Smitty has Big E winning. I would be willing to put money on it. So, all right, Nick, we're gonna move on to the next one until Smitty comes back from whatever digital break he's taking now. So the next match on the card is Rollins and Murphy versus Dominic and Ray. We have winner, fall type, who makes the fall, who takes the fall, aerial moves,
back.
and more than 3. That's right, Smitty, 3, not 2 619s. Are you back? You tell
Yeah.
me. You disappeared. All right, give me your picks for Big E and Sheamus.
Big E winning by pinfall, 3 aerial moves, 2 finishers.
All right, so now we're back to the Mysterios versus the Rollinses. Nick, what do you got?
I've got Dominic and Ray finally going over by pinfall. Dominic's going to pin Buddy Murphy. 6 aerial moves. I have yes to more than 3 619s. I was a little concerned about this one because when they both do a 619 at the same time, I'm thinking that's 2 619s. So
Yeah. Oh yeah, 2. Yeah. So I see what you're thinking here.
So yeah, I put yes to that.
We got to go to Daniel on that one. Would that count as 2 or 1?
I'm assuming that would be 2. That would be 2 separate because there's 2 people doing 1 619. So that would be 1 619 from Ray and 1 619 from Dominic. So I'm gonna just assume that would be considered 2.
All right. So my turn.
Yes, it's your turn, Smitty.
I've got the Mysterio boys winning by pinfall. Dom's going to pin Buddy Don't Call Me Murphy. 6 aerial moves, and yes to 3 or more 619s because I think they're both going to hit one and they're going to hit a dual one on somebody.
I have Dominic and Ray winning by pinfall with Dominic pinning Buddy Murphy, 6 aerial moves, and I picked no. There will not be more than 3 619s. So next is the United States Championship match, Bobby Lashley versus Apollo Crews. We have winner, fall type, match over 10 minutes, yes or no. Hurt Business promo or entrance promo, yes or no, and 3 near falls. And near falls. Spoiler alert, I just gave you my pick. So I'll kick this one off. I have Bobby Lashley winning by submission. The match will not be over 10 minutes. The Hurt Business will have an entrance promo, and there will be 3 near falls. Smitty, what you got?
I got Lashley by submission, no to being over 10 minutes. I have no to a promo, 4 near falls.
You got to be real happy about this one, Smitty, because no matter what, a black guy is going to win.
Yeah, Wakanda forever, my homies. Wakanda forever.
All right, Nick, what do you got?
I've got Bobby Lashley by submission, no over 10 minutes, yes to an entrance promo, and 4 near falls.
All right, moving on. We have the Women's Tag Team Championship match with Shayna Baszler and Haystacks Calhoun versus Sasha Banks and Bayley. This one we have winner, fall type, who takes the fall, who makes the fall, submission, rope break number, and will Sasha and Bayley attack each other at any time? Nick, what do you got?
I've got Calhoun and Baszler going over by submission. Baszler is going to make the fall. Banks is going to take the fall. 3 rope breaks, and there will be a Sasha Bailey attack on each other.
I also have Baszler and Jax winning by pinfall, Shayna making the fall, Sasha taking the fall, 2 submission rope breaks, and yes, there will be a fight between Sasha and Bailey. Smitty, what you got?
I got Team BJ winning by submission. Baszler's going to tap out Bailey. 3 rope breaks and yes to attack. I think this sparks the whole inevitability that since they've been doing this since SmackDown went to Fox, that Rome's going to be Universal and Sasha's going to be the girl. This is going to spark that off.
Okay. Now we get into your main event. At least I'm assuming this is the main event. The triple threat between Bray Wyatt, Roman Reigns, and Braun Strowman. I have the winner for this one, we have winner, fall type, who takes the fall, near falls, Superman punches. Will a chair be used as a weapon? Will the announce table be destroyed? And will Paul Heyman make an appearance? Nick, what do you got?
Oh, man. I've got Roman by pin. He's going to pin Braun Strowman. 8 near falls, 3 Superman punches, yes to a chair, yes to announce table being destroyed, and yes to Paul Heyman.
Smitty, what you got?
I got Reigns winning, pinning Braun Strowman. 6 near falls, 6 Superman punches, yes to a chair, yes to a table, yes to the Heyman.
Yeah. You love it when there's a Heyman, don't you, Smitty?
Do I look like Velveteen Dream?
I don't know. Do you?
No.
All right. I have Roman Reigns winning by pinfall. Strowman's going to take the fall in his new Sergeant Slaughter meets Hardy Boy gear. Near falls will be 4. There will be at least 5 Superman punches. Chair will be used as a weapon. Announce table will be destroyed. Paul Heyman will make an appearance. So now we get into match placement. We have your opening match, your third match, your fifth match, and your main event. I'll kick this one off. I have Big E and Sheamus as the opening match. I have Riddle versus Corbin in the third match. I have the women's tag match and then the Universal title as your main event. What you got, Nick?
I've got Riddle and Corbin opening it up with the U.S. Championship for match 3. Match 5, I have the Mysterios and Rollins and Murphy, and then the Universal Championship as your main event.
Smitty, what you got?
I have Big E and Sheamus starting it off. The U.S. title at number 3. The women's tag at number 5. And the Universal as the main.
Perfect. Do you guys remember this poster from about 18 months ago?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, it turns out Daniel and his band of losers have decided to challenge us again for, I don't know, for pride at this point because we're already undefeated at 3-0. But Mikey went and upped the ante on Twitter, and we will be taking on Pro Wrestling Scorecards from now to the end of the year in kind of like a gauntlet match type deal, and the winner will prevail. So we will prevail, guys. But Mikey also made it so that if we do happen to lose to Daniel's team during one of these months, our whole team is going to have to do this electrifying punishment. How do you guys feel about that?
Yeah. I don't know yet.
I'm not really worried about it because if history proves anything, I mean, based on the last, I don't know, 30 pay-per-views, we're constantly outscoring pro wrestling scorecards. So I'm pretty confident, I gotta say.
Well, unfortunately, Nick, I'm pretty sure Daniel came in tied for second. I know his band of Misfits don't really do shit, so Daniel's probably the biggest threat here. But it doesn't matter, because every time they go up against us, we fucking destroy them. Like, literally, like, we haven't lost. We've done it 3 times, and each time they lose handily. The only problem we have is when Nick faces debts.
He is the one intergender match and he barely comes out on top.
Yeah, right. I mean, I almost lost to Des. She is a very fierce competitor, but once again, they can't hang with the best. It's just,
Hey, look,
it's what we do.
Do I get to Chris Mario or Jess this time? I need somebody new.
The way I believe it's set up, and Mikey can talk more about this next week, but the way I believe it's set up is it's team versus team. So it would be total score versus total score of each team, but I believe the highest scoring person, like, for example, let's say Mikey has the highest score on this pay-per-view. He gets 10 points for our team. And let's say Daniel's the second highest scorer of the team. So he would get 8 points for his team and so on and so forth, with the lowest scoring person getting 0 points for their team. So then going forward, it would be a point scale each month, and whoever has the most points at the end of the year would be the winner. At least that's how I've taken it. I don't know if that's the exact way we're doing it. Like I said, Mikey can touch upon that next weekend, or cut a video sometime this week explaining the exact rules of this competition.
So PWS BDR4 is a year long, the rest of the year.
Yeah, so it's September, October, November, December. So 4 months.
Happy birthday to me.
They can't beat us in a single match, so they have to draw this thing out for 4 fucking months to hopefully pull out a win, which they won't, and we know it.
It's the Iron Team match.
Also, if I believe if PW Scorecards gets a 5th person, we are going to have Walt join our team. But again, Mikey can touch upon that next week because I really don't know the full details on all of that. But we may add an actual knowledgeable black man to the show for a couple.
What do you mean? I outscored you most of the time.
So Smitty, there's going to be some competition, man. There's going to be.
You do realize I outscored you most of the time.
We're not talking about the past. This is not practice, okay? We're not talking about practice.
I outscored you all this month.
Well,
what have you done for me lately?
Yeah, really. and in fact, you have not, because guess what? You got a big fat 0.
I've outscored you this month.
No, you didn't. BDR Smitty has not had a single, cannot hold a candle to the high on Brian Zillman.
There's a big goose egg there, buddy.
Yeah,
Ron
big fat 0.
Smith has beaten you. Say Ron Smith has beaten you. Emergence 6 takeover 56-53. SummerSlam 83-76. Emergence night 2 48-0.
You, that's not fair. I'd like to dispute that last one. I mean, granted, I probably would have gotten a lower score because I watch Impact, but I always watch Impact a day or 2 later, so I don't really know what's going on. So therefore, I probably would have got less of a score. But it doesn't matter, because if you're not on the right name, you don't get the right points, Smitty.
Dude,
What? You mad?
I've been trying to log into that fucking thing for all months. That's why I've been using this other one.
Yeah, we should talk to Daniel about getting your other one in our faction, so that way it's all together. Because I really hate being the top scorer and then finding out that you scored 3 more points than me.
Oh, what was that? SummerSlam? Or
no,
Takeover?
that was a takeover when I had 53 and you had 56.
Yeah, 56.
But it wasn't shown in the actual faction. All right, guys. That's all I have. Do you guys have anything else you want to talk about this week?
Shout out to our opponents' PWA scorecards. Come get our gear at breakingdownthering.com.
That's it. Yeah.
All right. Well, your ring crew is out. I'm Z.
I'm Mr. Smith Kishi.
Koenig 19.
And that's all for us today, guys. Have a good week.